Hi. A month ago, Argentina won the World Cup in soccer. That night, millions of Argentines took to the street. There was an amazing shot from a high up drone showing perhaps 1 million people jumping up and down on the streets of the capital, Buenos Aires, delirious with joy. Now, why do I mention this in a channel dedicated to sleuth investing? Because the days following, Argentinian stocks soared, or rather, they continue to soar. The bottom happened 2 years before, in 2020. Why did they soar? Who knows? My guess, though, is that people everywhere, not just in Buenos Aires, realize there's a solid country behind the dreary headlines. So the economy is probably solid, which translates to stocks, which, as I said, soared. Which stocks? One in particular was Idonor, EDN symbol, which I had first mentioned here as worth your sleuthing attention 2.5 years ago. The stock was then at $3.50, up from $2.50 at the bottom. Then I mentioned it again a year later, in 2021. By then, Idonor had already tripled from the bottom to 7 and change. Where is the stock now? Last it was at about 10, or almost 3 times the price it was mentioned here at first, and 4 times from the bottom. How high can it go? Who knows? That's for you to find out after your own sleuthing. But by way of partial answer, why did I mention Idonor the first time? Because, as I said then, Argentina is a classical case of a developed country lurching periodically from seeming disaster to seeming normalcy, which presents opportunities for periodic multi-gathers before normalcy is reached. At the bottom, things look hopeless. Corruption, political instability, all the rest of it. By then, somehow, things stabilize and become just a little bit less dire. That's when sleuths get interested. Now, how about Argentina? It was certainly corrupt, with the previous president and his wife allegedly accumulating a fortune offshore while bankrupting the states, which eventually welched on its bonds that fell a lot below the 100 payback price. At that point, Paul Singer, a tough New York hedge funder, bought Argentinian bonds for pennies and went after the rulers. He put liens on the government ships and jets and got Argentina to cover payment. Then little by little, things stopped getting worse. The president was gone, there was an election, and some old cronies got sued, which is when I got interested. Now, why did I? As I told you once, I have 3 rules for investing in stocks in foreign countries. The first rule is you should be able to walk down the street of the capital and shout that the president is an idiot, and the police won't hurt you. That is free speech. Second, if citizens try to stop you, the police will protect you. That is the rule of law. The third, if you have a commercial dispute with the government, you can take them to a local court, and if you are right, you have a good chance of winning. That is security of property. If any of these 3 rules doesn't hold, I keep my money out of that country's stock market. What of Argentina? The first 2 conditions were there, even through the bad years. Then I read that some presidential cronies were being prosecuted. I put Argentinian stocks on my gun sight. Then 2.5 years ago, I read that the top prosecutor quietly dropped the case against a top entrepreneur who was allegedly pressured to pay a bribe rather than initiate it. I realized the situation was close to the bottom. How to make sure, though? I checked with some former business school classmates who are now in South America and learned that although Argentina is still not pure, it is probably the best of a lot of South America. Why? Well, Venezuela is a communist state, a basket case. Chile is small. Bolivia is okay, but even smaller. Mexico is half a narco state and half in the pocket of China and local money bags. Brazil is rich, but half incompetent and is divided between 2 large organized crime groups, with politicians arguably the third. Argentina was not pure either, but so what? The plain secret to any South American is that the US empire needs a linchpin in the continent. It cannot have too much chaos. So which South American country it can choose? The only remaining one is Argentina. It has science, plenty of food, both cattle and agriculture, and has a long history with European connection. It is also commercially competent. For example, I was told that its traders handle half of Brazil agriculture production. So, which Argentinian stock would I look at? The answer is as central as possible. So Idonor came up. It's the electrical utility of the capital with a franchise for electricity distribution, not production, so no need for capital spending. I made a few more phone calls. I learned that Idonor has a high debt, but it was being fixed, allegedly. The stock was then trading at less than 1 time normal EBITDA. Yes, 1 time. The bottom price was $2.50. Last peak was 63. That is 24 times the bottom. 25 times the bottom, or a 25 bagger potential. The downside? Yeah, bankruptcy was possible, yes, but probably not for the electricity supplier of the capital city of the country. The US needs to be stable. What of inflation? Yes, again, it was high, close to 100% per year. But this also meant Argentinian businesses have experience dealing with it and still function. And function they did. So now you're probably asking, have I bought some stock? Whether I did or not, I won't say. But I didn't point it out to you here at $3.50. And by the way, I also mentioned 2 other Argentinian stocks at the same time. One was of a broker bank, the other a pure large bank. Which were these? Again, please view again my previous videos. The first is August 24, 2020. The second video of September 7, 2021. You'll find the 2 names there. Then see how they have done since. So finally, what's to learn from all this? There are 4 lessons in my opinion. First lesson, keep your list of sleuthing target wider than your local stock market. Look at foreign stock markets too. Second lesson, look for disasters in otherwise okay countries and wait for them to stabilize. That's the Jimmy Rogers rule, to whom I give credit here. You'll notice, by the way, I mentioned other foreign stocks here before. Vedanta in India became a triple bagger. Embraer in Brazil, another triple, before both countries stabilized and the stocks became less interesting to hold, both of which I mentioned here too. The third lesson, look for important stocks in that specific country with ADRs trading in New York, not over the counter. Fourth lesson and last, if and when you find such stocks, start sleuthing them. Call school friends in that country if you have them, or friends of friends, or call your country's embassy in the capital of the country and see if you can speak to the commercial attaché. They usually know quite a bit. Or often best, call newspaper business reporters in that country's capital and see if some will talk. If they do, they always know the real story locally, and usually there's a part they cannot write about. What's best, they're often patriots of the country and unhappy when things are getting better. And if you talk to them, you'll often hear it in their voice when they do. How to make them talk? That's up to you. But the more you try to do it, the better sleuth you'll become, in my experience. Finally, see then what was the peak price of the stock you are interested in before. If to make money, this stock price has to go higher than ever before, forget it. That's what I call making the heroic assumptions. What you do want is an opportunity to get at a multi-bagger, even if the stock reaches only partly to previous peak. Now, how does Idonor stack up in this? It is already a 3-bagger in 2.5 years. Can it be another 3-bagger from here? Or dare I say it, a third 3-bagger after that? 27-bagger in all? Sounds outrageous? Well, it has done so before. From 2013 to 2018, Idonor stock rose 30 times in 5 years. 30 times. Can it do it again? Who knows? Remember though, it can also fall to the previous bottom just as fast as it will rise. So which is it, up or down? Do your own sleuthing and you tell me. That's all for today. Let me know in the comment below what you think of the above. And if you like it, give it a like and subscribe. And tell all your friends who they subscribe to. Then buy my book, The Sleuth Investor, and give it a good review if you can. Finally, buy my next book, The Advanced Sleuth Investor, when it comes up in less than 2 months. I'll see you next time. And meantime, thank you very much for watching.